Organ donation is important to me because it's something I can do while I'm still living. I can still give back to society. I already donate blood as frequently as possible. I've been on the bone marrow donor list for a number of years, but I believe I'm now too old for that. But it was just something I wanted to do while I was still alive and in good health. The process of working with the Transplant Center was great because I'm a very organized person, so I like to know what the steps are, what's coming up, what do I need to do. I knew what the process was going to be because it was communicated the whole way through, so it was a great experience working with the team. And as I had questions, I would just email them off and I got answers right away, so it was really good experience for myself. Since donating my kidney, I would say physically it has not changed my life at all. I do not notice that I am missing a kidney, except for having a few little scars that make me smile. I keep in touch with my recipient via Facebook. We've never met, but that's how we keep in touch. And I ask about our kidney, how our kidney's doing. So, but life has not changed at all for me. No noticeable difference at all. The one thing I want people to know is that the question I couldn't get over was what if? What if somebody in my family needed a kidney? What if, I have 4 daughters, I have 9 grandchildren. What if they need a kidney down the road? And the best words of advice I got were from my best friend, and she goes, they don't need a kidney now, somebody else does right now, and we can't predict the future. So if you're going to do it now. And I would suggest that to anybody else, that that's true, that we can't predict the future, and I knew somebody was waiting for my kidney.
Organ donation is important to me because it's something that we can all do for each other, and there's just such a huge need in this country for organ donation to help others survive. You know, it was pretty later in life here that I gave blood for the first time, and that's when I discovered that I was O negative. And then it was just like, oh, now somebody is interested in me donating blood very frequently. And it just sort of started that path of thinking, like, if I can help people with donating blood, and I'm a universal donor there, maybe I have a kidney that would match somebody pretty easily. And that just started this thought process that ultimately led me to the point where I was in contact with Iowa Methodist and the transplant team to see if I could be a living donor. The process to become a living donor was one that I thought went very quickly in some respects. There was just needing to go through some basic testing to make sure that I was a healthy person and could actually do this. And then it just seemed like once surgery was scheduled, then it came up even quicker. You know, there was instantly sort of the change of having to be sick and needing help for the first time. And that was sort of life-changing in the sense of that I had to rely upon other people in a way that I hadn't before. And so it really made me thankful for my support network and those around me. But it also made me probably have a lot more empathy for others who are going through different illnesses and things, because I could now say that I had been there where I wanted to do something but just didn't have the energy to do it and had to take the time to fully recover before I could be able to do what I was doing before. You know, I did the little Wall of Heroes thing recently, and like my work background is public administration, and so like I have known for a long time that public service is what I am supposed to do, and so I really just felt like this was another way to continue serving and to really continue what my life and work goal is of public service.
Organ donation is important to me because of my time working on Yonker 5 as a bedside nurse and getting to meet the recipients and the donors on both sides and what an impact it can make and what a difference people's lives can make for someone else. I had a feeling to be a living donor when I started taking care of transplant patients and realizing that this is something I could do. I took care of a kidney donor one time, and she did it out of such selfless act of love of humanity. And I realized that I could do it too. Like, I was in a spot in my life that this would work just fine. Working with the transplant team every day, it was a perfect opportunity to put a little bug in someone's ear and say, hey, how would this process work? What would it look like? What do I need to do? The process was made so much easier with the transplant team. They worked with me every step of the way, and they made it very clear that my comfort was as important to them as it was for the recipient. And they made sure that I felt heard, and they advocated for me, and they made sure that it worked in my life as well, not just the recipient. So it was a very mutual partnership. Being a living donor has changed my life by realizing that so many more people need to know about this. I wouldn't have known about this opportunity if I hadn't worked on the floor that I work on. And realizing, talking to people, that the word needs to get out there, that so many lives can be changed and so many people can step up and do this, and it's not as hard as it may sound.
Before the transplant, I always had that worry about having to go on dialysis. I was pretty close, and so that weight has been gotten rid of, and I was just, I just wasn't feeling as well, and I didn't realize I wasn't feeling well. I feel much better now since the transplant. Well, I was in a tough position because I had an original kidney put in, a cadaver kidney, and that just didn't work, and it became very obvious early on that wasn't going to work. And so if I hadn't had that living donor, I probably would not have gotten a kidney transplant, because there was nowhere way to prepare my body to deal with the rejection and the antibody, the HLA antibody that was in fact attacking the kidney. Well, we're together forever. I'm living a good life, a better life, because of her unselfishness. Anna, as you know, took care of me the first time I had a kidney transplant, and so it's opened a lot of doors. One of the interesting things is that I had a complication the second time around, and the nurses went crazy with that, as did I, and a couple of them accompanied down to the surgery room. And after I found out it was Anna, I realized why they were so engaged in it. And I thought, what a neat experience. I can't tell you all that this experience has been, because the big thing for me is to experience what it's like to be part of a team, and the focus of a team. These people were closer to me than any doctor that's ever worked with me. I mean, they were all in it together. There's a lot of people looking for meaning, and this is one way to show yourself how valuable your life is, that you're willing to sacrifice for someone else.